Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a black comedy horror film, Tusk. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. Wallace and his best friend Teddy run a popular channel on YouTube, where they do live streams, and make fun of the humiliating viral videos. Wallace finds that the audience love that weird but exciting stuff, so he tries to collect all those funny stuff to make them more intriguing. One day, a video arouses his interest, in which a Canadian boy accidentally cuts off his leg while playing around with a katana. The video soon goes viral on YouTube. Wallace tries to contact the boy, planning to interview him. He then flies to Canada. Upon arrival, however, he is shocked by the news that the boy committed suicide a day ago because he could not accept the result of losing a leg. Wallace is so upset that he has gone such a long way for nothing. However, just when he is pouring his stink water in a restroom, he finds a handbill from someone offering an exclusive interview of his life for free and guaranteeing he will share his most interesting stories only. Wallace is thrilled after reading the handbill, thinking he has finally got something for the trip. Intrigued, he drives to the place provided on the handbill, which is the only mansion in the outskirts with no other households. Inside the mansion lives an old man called Howard, who sits in a wheelchair. Howard offers Wallace some tea and starts to talk about his story. At first, Wallace is enjoying the tea as well as Howard's story, but with Howard going on, Wallace becomes increasingly frightened. Howard tells him that his parents were both killed when he was little, and that he was brought up in an orphanage, where he suffered all kinds of abuse. Thus, he has developed hatred and resentment towards humans. What's more, Howard believes that humans are the most primitive creatures on Earth, while walruses are the most advanced. Wallace doesn't know how to continue with his remark, as he can't agree at all. Then, Howard tells Wallace that he ran away from the orphanage when he was 15, and ended up being a cook on a boat. However, in order to seek the largest profits, the captain drove the boat in the most dangerous waters. Then one day, the boat sank, and all the other crew died except Howard. He was all alone floating on the wide and dark sea, cold and helpless. Fear was flooding over him, and he was on the verge of both physical and mental collapse. However, just then, something sticky showed up beside him, which turned out to be a walrus. Out of surprise, the walrus didn't attack him. Instead, it dragged him onto an island and took him into its blubbery body to keep him warm. As a result, Howard was saved, and ever since then, he has seen the walrus as his belief. Wallace could not feel more excited by such a bizarre story. However, he passes out suddenly and falls onto the ground for no reason. When he wakes up the next day, he finds Howard sitting in front of him. So he asks Howard what happened, as he feels something is wrong with his legs. Howard doesn't tell him the truth. Instead, he tells Wallace that he was bitten by a toxic spider, and that the wound has already been taken care of. However, Wallace suddenly realizes something is wrong, and right away he pulls off the blanket covered on his laps. Holy shit, he finds that his left leg is gone, and that he is strapped into a wheelchair. Wallace is so scared, and he shouts to Howard to send him to the hospital. However, Howard doesn't do anything, but stares at Wallace gloomily, saying why the hell Wallace wants to be a vulgar human being. Wallace realizes that he's not bitten by a spider, and all that was done by the psycho Howard. Later at the dinner table, Wallace is even more terrified to find that Howard is not crippled at all. He can still walk. Until then, he knows he's already fallen into a trap, and he's in despair, no matter how hard he begs for his life. Howard tells Wallace that his human life is over, and that if he wants to continue living, he has to become a walrus. During the next period of time, Howard is mutilating and altering Wallace to better fit him into the walrus costume he has constructed. Wallace is in great agony and fear, but he can do nothing. One day, he finally finds an opportunity and calls his girlfriend and his friend Teddy. Unfortunately, his phone call is missed by them, who are too busy playing their 6 and 9 hormone game right at that time. Wallace, therefore, leaves them a voicemail, hoping they can come and save him quickly. Later, however, Wallace doesn't have a chance to call them anymore, as his arms are then amputated and altered into the forelimbs. and his tongue is cut off and replaced with 2 long tusks. He is then sewed into a walrus costume made of human skin. And by then, the poor Wallace is no longer alive in the world. Instead, Wallace has been transformed into Walrus. Wallace keeps bellowing furiously, with resentment and despair in his eyes, but there is nothing he can do. Howard starts to feed him with fish, and gets him into the water to condition him to think and act like a walrus. While being in the water, Wallace is horrified to find that there under the water, there are so many other constructed walruses like him, but all dead. He realizes that the brutal old man has constructed many people into walruses, and if he cannot live as a walrus, he will definitely die. Wallace is completely desperate now. Meanwhile, after a long hormone game, his girlfriend and Teddy finally hear Wallace's voicemail, and are aware that he is in danger. They fly to Canada immediately, and get in contact with the local police. The police reveals that Howard, nicknamed the First Wife, has been kidnapping and murdering people for years. With the new clues, they finally find where Wallace is, and break into the mansion. However, they are shocked to see what is happening right in front of them. A blubbery walrus is piercing an old man in his heart over and over again with its sharp tusks. Suddenly, his girlfriend screams at the walrus, unwilling to believe the disgusting creature is her boyfriend Wallace. Unable to speak, the walrus just stops, with humiliation, fear, guilt, and all other emotions flooding over him. And then suddenly, the walrus lowers its head, and tears roll down its face. It turns out that shortly before they come to rescue Wallace, Howard reveals to Wallace that he had killed and eaten Mr. Tusk, the walrus who saved his life. And in Howard's memory, he was not strong enough to kill Mr. Tusk at all. But he doesn't know why Mr. Tusk would rather let him kill it than fight back. Therefore, overcome with guilt, he has spent the last 15 years turning his victims into his beloved savior in an attempt to relive their last day and give Mr. Tusk another chance at survival. Howard has altered 20 more healthy men into the walrus, but none of them survived. And Wallace is the only one who surprisingly adapts to the life of a walrus. Since Mr. Tusk has been revived, Howard asks Wallace to kill him, thinking it's time for him to sacrifice his body to atone for his sins. Wallace is then brought back to America and lives in a wildlife sanctuary. His girlfriend and Teddy will visit him with fresh fish when they have time off their busy hormone game. Teddy has never posted any videos about Mr. Tusk on YouTube, which would literally make him more famous than Daniel CC Movie with those billions of views, because he believes Wallace still deserves the last vestige of dignity as a human being, and also, he appreciates Wallace's generosity to offer him such a perfect hormone partner. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Peace out.